Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be looking at automation and how you can use that in your projects. So firstly, what is automation? Well, automation is the process of getting logic to automatically adjust settings, okay? So this could be things like taking, this output volume of the track and automatically changing it. It could be changing the panning level. It could be changing the send level, for example. And one crucial thing to kind of think about is these things are happening over time, okay? If you wanted to just adjust these settings, pan everything hard left, turn the volume up on the track, and adjust the panning level, and you were happy with it as it was, you probably won't need automation, right? Because you're not really changing anything over time. But if you wanted the panning to gradually go from left all the way to right between, for example, bar 1 to 17, you could automatically get logic to adjust it so it gradually fades around to the other side, right? So that's automation. And why would you want it to do that? I guess there's some obvious things that it could, save you some time. But there's one really big practical thing, which is you just don't have enough hands, to adjust all of these things, certainly by yourself. And if you sort of cast your mind back to recordings of the 60s and 70s and so on, you'd have, maybe 10 engineers working on the same mixing desk. One responsible for this track, another responsible for this track here. Maybe another person on the same track responsible for just the panning at different moments. And obviously this is, it's quite intensive, and quite, costly really to have that many people working on a project. So it's a good thing to have this available to us in Logic. Okay, right. So let's have a little think about how we actually apply this practically. So I've got a track here, and what I want to do is I want to fade in both the bass and the whirly track to bar 17. So I want the full volume to come in at bar 17 and gradually fade in. So let's have a quick listen to what it sounds like first, and then we'll have a go at doing that. Okay, so it's got that kind of driving feel to it, right? So what I want to do is automate this so the whirly gradually fades in, right? So the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to press A on your keyboard. And once you've done that, you'll be faced with this menu, right? And I think by default, Logic automatically assigns volume to automation, right? And that's why we've got this automation parameter here labeled as volume. And the automation value will depend on what you're trying to automate, right? So volume, this is in decibels, but if I was panning left to right, it would be, from minus 64 over to to plus 63, okay? So it really depends on what you're trying to change. So in order to get this to fade in, what you need to do is make sure that your automation parameter type is correct, just here. And to do that, you just need to click on this menu here, this drop down, and it should be about here. But if not, click on main, come to volume, and then we get absolute or relative. Absolute is where it's the, this is the complete and total value, right? So it's either on or it's off. Whatever you put in here, it's going to be exactly what it is. It's not going to be relative to anything else in your track. I'll go into a little bit more detail in another video on that, but just so that you're aware of where these things are, that's where you can find them. Panning, send volume, all that kind of stuff down here as well. Okay, so let's change the volume, right? So I've selected volume here, and then what I need to do is come over to the actual track just over here and click on this track. And you'll see that this yellow line now appears, right? Now, one little consideration to just bear in mind is that if this blue button here is set to region, it will only affect the region, right? If you want to affect the whole track, you need to make sure this is switched to track. And again, I'll go into a bit more detail on this in another video. Okay, so we've got this. I've clicked on this area here, and I want to fade this in at bar 17. So let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to click on this line, right? And hopefully you can see there that we get these little nodes appear, right? Now these nodes are the points that allow you to move things before or after, right? So these are like concrete pillars of automation, right? So if I click here at bar 17 and then I drag this node down here, it will fade up. This line goes up, right? And this indicates the amount of decibel level coming out, so the loudness coming out on this track. So this is going to fade up to bar 9, but I want it to fade up to bar 17. So what I need to do is actually click on this node I made here at bar 9 and delete that one, and now this will fade up to bar 17. Okay, and if I wanted to do the opposite, I could actually select this node here at the front, drag this back up, so it's just click and drag, and I could do it the other way, and I could go from incredibly loud down to nothing. Okay, so that's how you do that. So let's get this to fade up to bar 17. Excellent, so that should do that now up to a reasonable level there. And if we just take this playhead and keep your eye on the fader level, you can see that it goes from nothing, and gradually this will slide up to minus 7.1 decibel. There you go, hopefully you can see that. So that's what automation is doing. It's automatically adjusting this volume for me so that I don't have to do this by myself, right? Okay, so let's also automate the volume of this bass as well. So this time I'm just going to click straight on the track here. And just remember, we're still in automation. So pressing A on your keyboard. Click 17, or in line with 17. And now we've got this node point here, right? So that means I can now drag this front one down. And now this is also going to fade in gradually with the volume, right? Okay, so that's good. Right, and now I'll press A again, come back to the main arrange window, and we can see here that, already we can see that the automation is working because our volume is at nothing on the actual faders, right? Okay, so let's just bring this up and press play. Great, so that works exactly as I wanted it to, and you can hear then just the strings at the beginning, right? So that's an example of how we can use automation, and I'm sure I'll make some more videos on this going into a little bit more depth, but just to give you an idea as to what you can do. Hopefully that helps. So yep, go away, open up your projects, see what automation you can add in, and mess around with things. It's definitely a good way of learning things. Yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And I'm always interested to hear how you got on. So drop us a comment on the video if you want, or if you've got any questions, I can always answer those as well. And as always, thanks for watching.